Hello, just popping on for a second. It is August 5th. I don't even know how that happened. I don't know how August got here so quick, but here it is. I've got you balanced on a mason jar full of clips. I'm in my sweatshop. Let me see. Yeah, it's way up high. But anyway, I'm in my little sweatshop. And yesterday I started to sew. I got sick Sunday a week ago, and it just got progressively worse. And then yesterday I was on the phone with one of my sisters, just boo-hooing, because I knew I was going to have to cancel my trip to Kansas. And then for me, school starts next week, so not happy about having to miss the trip. But it happens. I mean, I guess since I moved away from Kansas, I think maybe 2020, maybe another year here or there, were the only times I miss going back, because I moved away from Kansas a couple times. Hold on one second. I'm going to try to change the level of this. Alrighty, we'll see how this goes. Anyway, I had to cancel my trip to Kansas. It was a little defeating. My summer had a lot of hiccups and road bumps. But that's life, isn't it? Hiccups and road bumps. And so yesterday was the first time I felt up to doing something mildly productive. And I get tired so easy with this respiratory junk going on. But anyway, I got some scraps, and here's a few things I made. This right here, which you can take it off. I know I've seen where some sewers will put it on a tab, but the way the zipper is that I have, I'm not going to put a tab on it. And so, not saying that I haven't put it on any, but not these, but it's this. Woo! Whoa, I'm sorry. Y'all are up on a thingy that moves when I move. See that? Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, you want a little cray-cray there for a second? Well, that thing's spun quicker than I expected it to. Alright, so made this wristlet keychain, and it can just, if you don't want it on there, then you obviously just take it off, and that'll come off. I'm not going to do that. You take it off, and it's going to look like this. I mean, it's not going to turn into red and white dots. It's really just red dots. But these red dots here, and then I just took another little scrap, put a little pocket in it, and my thinking is if you use this for just a little change purse or cash dollars, and if you wanted to put your driver's license in, you could put it in the pocket and then not lose it, or just, you know, have it. But I'm gonna make a wristlet as well. I'm gonna make some lanyards. I know for a lot of teachers, and I'm not saying I'm making them for teachers. I'm using up a bunch of fabric and stuff is what I'm doing, and I am gonna do the farmer's market. But y'all, a little I don't even want to call it a rant, a little reality. So to do a farmer's market, now I've done markets, I've done them for years up in Virginia, and they were like Christmas, markets or spring market or whatever. I didn't have to get a business license to do the farmers markets here in Charleston County. You have to have a retail business license. I mean, even if you do it randomly. And I know, the government wants their little piece of pie, but so you have to pay a fee for the business license, and then you have to pay for your spot at a farmer's market, and then you have to get liability insurance for your tent space. You'll get a 10 by 10 space, and now this market's not that expensive. In the big scheme, it's $30 for the space, but the liability insurance is $30 a month. And then, so even if you don't do a market 1 month, you're going to have to still pay that liability. And then you have to pay your, quarterly taxes. And there was something else. And I'm like, great day. Like, I don't even have like a website. I don't have, I'm not stressing about all that. I just, let me see if I can do this real quick. I have buku fabric, and that's not even what I have in my garage. So it's like, I'm just trying to get rid of stuff. Some of the stuff I'm going to keep from myself, the stuff over here. But I'm just trying to kind of get rid of all that. And I have just as much that you see there. And I'm going to get rid of a lot of that too. And then I have some, oh, you can't see it from here. Anyway, I'm trying to get rid of some of my sweatshop fabric. I mean, you just see, it's all kinds of fabric all over the place. And then there's even down below in the cabinets down there's more fabric. And so, and I had mentioned before that my daddy had died. It'll be 4 years. I'm sorry, I'm trying to balance y'all back up on this mason jar. But he died, and there was nothing about me that wanted to be creative. And then my Billy got sick 2 months later after Daddy passed away, and then he died 6 months after that. And so in 8 months I'd lost, 2 very important men in my life. The most important, Jesus being the first important. It rocked my world, so I just didn't create. At one time, I was just going to get rid of all this stuff. I thought I didn't want, and then wisdom kicked in, discernment kicked in, and it was like, okay, I can't do that. I just need to emotionally settle down. And then in January, I just kindly challenged myself to, what can you do with this fabric besides quilt? I didn't have the mindset to do a full-size quilt. And so I've been doing things like that. And like I said, I'm going to do a farmer's market. When I do, I'll try to video it. I just did all the reaching out computer stuff yesterday. But I can tell you this, just the whole business end of it, that's what can, like, turn me off. And but I'm gonna tarry through, and I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So I've just got that done yesterday. Really, that's all I had in me to do. I've shown you the boxes and some of the scrunchies I've made, some of the makeup boxes, utility box, whatever you want to use them for, their fabric. And then I did some totes for my grandsons. And anyway, but I got to get busy. And I am just I just got very upset about I didn't even go up to Virginia this summer. It's been over 3 decades there of my life, and I just, oh gosh, I love it there. I did get in a weekend camp trip and videos on there, and I'm sorry on the longer of those 2 videos. At one point it flips. I don't know. I'm not a tech nerd. Woo! Look at that, I lit up. And so now I'm really lit up. Like I said, I started just doing YouTube. That was really just as a creative outlet over a year ago. Just doing videos and whatnot. And then my phone started messing up. I was on my phone and someone slammed a door, and she's gonna keep us safe from that. But it was just, this was started out as just a little creative outlet, and if you watch, you watch. If you don't, you don't. Then I'm just sitting here talking to my phone and that's okay. I was all right with that. But I'll see how this whole farmer's market goes, and it has to be stuff that's produced, which I do like that, because I've noticed too, there's a few YouTubers I've watched that make bags up. Well, now they do stickers, they do the things that go on your phones, they do already made bookmarks that they have had zero design concept with it. I'm glad at least the farmer's market that I'll be at, it's got to be produced by you. And so if they're making money off that or whatever, good for them. But when I go to farmers markets or whatnot, and I remember the small town I lived in, that's, for a while they wouldn't have crafters, but then they wouldn't get enough people with produce or baked goods to come in. So one time I went in and somebody was selling that $5 jewelry stuff, and then so they started to compromise themselves. I don't want all that stuff that you can get on Shein and Temu. And anyway, you're not going to find that at this particular market. So I did the application online yesterday, and they said 5 to 7 days. You had to put, what did you think you'll make between now and December 31st? I just put $100 on. I don't know if I'll make that. And so I know I'll be spending more than that just to do it. But we'll see. We'll see. And I do know it is not something I would do every single week, because there's no way I'd be able to crank out enough stuff. And I've got some more stuff finished over there. What would be the more expensive items or whatever, due to how long it just takes me to produce the item. I don't see cranking a lot of that out over the week, and I didn't get quite as much done this summer. I really wanted to do the market in August. Just hoping to get some back to school sales, but it's not going to happen because school starts next week. And I'm not doing the market this weekend. I don't have the strength. I do have 2 of the tables that you would need, 2 6-foot tables. I have that. I don't have a tent. I had a tent from the last camping trip. Went and bought it at Wally World. It was junk. It was the store brand, and I kind of explained in that other video why I had even got that when I got back to where I live. I took it back because it is flim flam. So looked at a few, you know, and I need something that I can do truly one-handed, because it'll be me putting it up. And you can have, so you get a 10 by 10 space, and then space for your car behind it where you can unload, which is nice. And I attend the farmer's market all the time there, and they have some fluctuations in the different vendors, but for the most part they have a crew of their hardcore people that are just there every Saturday. But the difference is, a few of those that I'm talking about, like they're selling bread, they're selling cheese and cookies and brownies and but I guess when I think about it now, there's a woodworker, he's there. My thinking was like, why am I gonna show up every week? I guess that's why it's the funny bone. Anyway, I don't know. I overthink. So I just need to go with like some of the stuff I have, and I need to produce out some quicker stuff. I did get a few more labels. I think you saw this one. And you know what I did wrong? I guess it doesn't matter too much. To me, this was the front. Like, zippers should go left to right. And it does. So that one's correct. But look at this. So the label should have been right there, is what I'm saying. Because zippers are left to right. And then, but I got it right on that one. So I need to pay closer attention to what I'm doing. But, like, this is one of my Jukies, and then behind you all is another Juki. The one behind you, I do all the quilting of the fabric on, and then I come over here to this Juki, TL 2010Q. I love this thing. My guys surprised me with it years ago. In case you didn't know, the 2010 meant that was the year it came out. But anyway, this is a beast. This machine is a beast. It's not necessarily commercial or industrial, but it's semi-industrial, because you could do leather on this, and vinyl. I've done paper on it when I did some paper cards and whatnot. Excuse me. And so this, I love this machine. It's just a straight stitch. Excuse me. It's just a straight stitch. The machine behind me, that thing, it's a Juki as well, and it does 5 million stitches, does some embroidery. You're limited to the size. Embroidery, as far as it's got a few fonts on it. But I did, for this, got a little bigger label, and then for the totes, even a little bigger. But anyway, it definitely looks handmade. I need to probably zigzag or blanket stitch that on, because see how I didn't get that quite. See, I'm not raw. It looks handmade. All right. This one's a little better. But anyway. And this is 1 inch webbing I had. And I just put the fabric on top of the webbing. And then, which I have some 1.5 and 1 3/4 webbing. The 1 3/4 webbing is black. So honestly, this stuff is gonna, it's not all gonna exactly look alike. I am gonna try to do sets of stuff but I'm also just trying to use stuff I already have on hand. And so what I do is, like, this is cut out. This is just a little, hold on one second. Did you miss me? I know. That's old, isn't it? But this is another one with the same pattern. And I'm about out of this fabric. And, yeah, I think I have enough left to make a tote. Anyway, I'm sorry. But can you see the difference in sizes? That's because I had different sizes of webbing. And like this here, that was scraps. So I'm sewing my scraps. And so I didn't get the label right because like this end looks handmade. But this is my pattern for that. It's just something I put on graph paper. And then I folded it there and there. And what I was going to do was cut out, and that's when, this was when I did that, that's when I decided where I wanted the label to go. So I kindly eyeball it better. So I think this one was that. But then I'm kindly liking that better. The other two don't have a pocket in it like the polka dot one. I like that polka dot fabric now because, you know, I like red. But then I just have my notes on here. You know, what size I need to cut my webbing and all that. And then when it's just sitting around so that I don't inadvertently throw it away, boom. That's my organization system. And so then I'm like, okay, there's my pattern for that. And isn't that cute? But I messed it up. This was like literally scraps of fabric. It's denim. And it feels smaller. No, it's not. And I think, I don't think, I'm sending this, I was supposed to take it to my sister when I was supposed to go to Kansas. And I was going to give it to her because it's a rut row. And I don't even want to try to do like a reduced price on rut rows just because, and if I did, I wouldn't have my name on it, I guess. I don't put that out there. But after I had flipped it, there's just a scant eighth of an inch that just wasn't done. So I went ahead and flipped it all around again. And I just, you know, tried to tack it down on the machine. But still, I'm concerned that it might, well, it's still, you can still see some of the hem. So I am, on this machine, I am going to tack it down on this side. But you're gonna see it. But that way, it'll at least stay tacked down for my sister who's getting a freebie. And, but what do you think of that? That's cute. It's a denim. Billy used to work with a gal. He didn't work with her. It's an elderly lady. I think she's in her 80s. And she used to be a seamstress. She gave me a boatload of fabric and a lot of it's denim. So I'm like, what can I do with this denim? What can I do with this denim? I think I want to do some, you know, straps with the denim. And then also, and that I might not even have to use the webbing because it's thick. And then also do tote bags. You know, I'm hoping my tote bags will sell at a farmer's market. I'm trying to make them at a size. It's like, put your onions in there, put your potatoes in there, put your tomatoes in there. You know, you get the idea. And flowers. They even have flowers at the farmer's market. So, and I have, I'm sorry, folks. And this is going to be something else. I'll pop on another day for this. I'm looking forward to it. But this is going to be a tote. And I'm going to tell you what. You either like red or you don't. You either like red or you don't. But I like it. But I know I can't keep everything I make. But this is going to end up being, let me show you what size this will be. Okay, now this one I had messed up and had to take it apart, and I wasn't happy. And I think my sister thought she was going to get it. She's not getting this one. I did take it apart. So that'll be a tote bag about this size. Let's see what size that is. Grab a ruler. And this says it is almost finished. It says about 13 3/4 wide. It's 9.5 deep. And then, let's see. Did I say 9.5 deep? No, it's, yeah, 3.5 wide. Anyway, this was my thought for this, because I was going to do some book sleeves too, and Kindle sleeves. And I have the lining over there already. Like I said, I got it together, and I had the wrong straps on. I had the fabric for this as a strap. So now I'm just trying to clip everything together. So Chantel, even though I have 1,000 million clips, I need them all. I'm clipping everything. I'm gonna make those clips work for me. So this is it, and this is kind of what I had in mind. This, I don't necessarily think this is a market tote, but look at that. Look at this. This is a good Bible, by the way. This is, it's not my favorite, but I like it. I would suggest it. It's, you download the Filament app, Filament, and anyway, this is Courage for Life, Study Bible for Women. I got it on sale, Amazon. It's New Living Translation. My favorite translation is New King James Version. But this is easy too. But the cool thing about this, see how I digress? If you're reading about Isaiah, then anyway, you can go take your phone, once you download the app, there's a thing up here, you scan it, and then it just goes into more information. But it is a study Bible, see. I like it. I've been using it, and see, got some highlighting going on in there. But I do like my King James. Thank you, Jesus, for your word. Heaven and earth will disappear, but my words will never disappear. Get that in your heart. Know that. And people can speak things over you, but they don't mean anything but what God speaks over you. And then here's more here. What did I put? What did I say up in Ephesians? Now all the glory to God, who is able through his mighty power at work within us to accomplish infinitely more than we might ask or think. Give me more, Jesus. But this, I digress. But I'm talking about the word. It's okay. That's not a digression, actually. But it'll fit in there. I don't have my straps. And so the Bible will fit in there. And you know what? While we're at it, let me see if... I call this my brain. I got all kinds of stuff written in here. Whew, I lost it for a few days. I got so upset with myself. So upset. I don't know if y'all ever do that. Since my daddy and Billy died, you know, you get that brain fog. I tell you what. I was so upset with myself. I was so upset. I was like, Jesus, what is wrong with me? He said, nothing, girl. You got grief fog. But look, even that'll fit in there. So if you do notes and whatnot. And I don't know that I'll have a closure. I guess if you don't put in a spiral notebook, I can do a little closure. But anyway, there's that. But your Bible can fit in. And then I'll make some bigger totes. Make a few sizes, just really based on the fabric. So, and in the lining, I'm going to have a pocket. So I'm feeling like you can put pens and pencils and whatever you want. And so that's what I'm going to do. but that's what size that is. And like I said, it's not, I had to take it apart. I mean, I got done with it. I'm like, girl, put on the wrong straps. But isn't that pretty fabric? And so anyway, I was ready just to be done with, I was going to just send it to my sister too, and I was going to take it to her this summer. And I thought, no, I'm going to fix this one. And so I was just sitting down one night watching a movie, and that's what I did. So I'm going to fix that, and then this will be another one of those. And then I have more fabric cut out to do. I can't see it. That's I'm in my dining room, sewing room. That in there, I have a dining room table, and it's full of stuff. I have a tote that I have the some of the finished products in. And then I have a table. It's a collapsible table. I didn't have the strength a couple days ago to stand at it and cut. And then I ended up putting the legs down. I put one of my dining room table chairs up to it. And that was perfect. And could sit there and just cut. So I did. Like I said, I don't remember. But I'm so glad I have all these clips, because I wouldn't want to be pinning all this. And it's not even the final cut, but it's just, you know, I'm staging it, doing it in stages. So I'll get those done. And when I do a market, I'll let y'all know. We'll see. You know, like I said, the business end of it's kind of bogging me down. It's just way more, and I'm glad I didn't try to do it 2.5 years ago when I first moved here, because that would have completely discouraged me. And see, I even use clips on my brain and like tabs. Yeah, so here, what I needed to do, county business license. And then I was told, y'all, Charleston County is big. In South Carolina, it's a whole lot going on here. But then if you want to do in some of the little surrounding areas, then you got to get a business license for each of those little municipalities. Municipalities, you hear that? Word of the day. See if you can use that in a sentence. Municipality. I just used it in a word. But anyway, it is what it is. But now I know, because I talked to the revenuer on the phone, and I go, so if I go from one island to another doing this, and yeah, I thought, okay. And so, and she didn't have answers for some of the stuff. And I didn't do a deep dive into liability insurance, because like I said, I'm not going to lie, it was more than my brain could take on. It was like, it was overwhelming me. And I can get overwhelmed easily. I'm not bragging. It's not a brag thing. I just can. And so when I get that way, I'd have to take a step back. And I will say 2.5 years ago, I'd have shut it down. I'm like, I am not even going to try. I'm going to give it a try. You know, I'm going to give it a try. And, but I could use prayers to get completely healed from this gunk, because it's beating me out. This summer junk is the worst. But anyway, but I'm over here playing with stuff. This is actually something, my sisters each have one of these. Our daddy gave us one. He gone on a trip, and isn't that cute? And what I do sometimes, like when I'm sewing and I got all these, you know, clips in, I use those over pins. And a lot of times I'll have this on the other side of the sewing machine, and so when I'm taking them out. I'm just dropping them in. And then I'll take them and pour them into the bigger container that I have. Put the lid on, boom, put it there. But I do have me some clips. Oh, there it goes. I just knocked a whole bunch over. Well, do a video yourself, and you'll see how often you repeat something. So I say a lot. Succotash, whiplash. I just dropped that. Hang on. But anyway, like I said, I'm knocking stuff down everywhere. See if I can get this open. It's August 5th. Thought I'd just pop on and tell you about my new venture soon. Do hope to get some more van camping in. One day I'll try to film the entire setup. The last camp trip I went on, it was blazing hot here. I mean, I sweat. I used to not sweat. Then I moved to the rainforest. I sweat. And so it was intense that day, but the mountains were really nice. It wasn't like one day we had hiked 8 miles. And but you know, when you're in the trees and whatnot, and then you're hitting waterfalls, it was like 70 degrees, 75 degrees. It was nice. It was nice weather. And then when you stop for lunch. So anyway, okay, I've got a mess to clean up here. I really do. I mean, I knocked that jar from this sewing table to that sewing table. It's everywhere. And my favorite, it's not my favorite tool, but I'll show you. It's my favorite of the ones I have to use. Clover. I like the functionality of it best, which is really, I'm the one functioning it most. It's just a nice size compared to other seam rippers, because I was seeing if I had another one here. I'd just soon get rid of all the other ones, but because this is my favorite one to use, I guess because it's thin there. I don't know. I just like it the best. And that's one of the tools I use most when I'm sewing, my sewing machine being number one. I use that. I guess the other stuff I knocked down to Kentucky. Great day in the universe. I was looking for this morning. It's right there. Right there. But this is one of my other favorite tools. It's a stylus. So when I'm going over some of the bulky stuff, when I'm sewing, when it gets bulky, I can take this and push it along and then preserve my finger. Maybe I'll do a video sometime of all my favorite like sewing tools that I have to have right here in my immediate area that I don't want to be without, and I try to have it. They're not exact duplicates, but I try to have it available on each table. Not that it would be a lot of effort for me to get up and walk around, or even to set in the middle, but sometimes the fabric's going to the middle, so just convenience, just convenience. All right, well, I'm going to end this right here, and I'll tell you what is today, Monday? No, Tuesday. Anyway, I'm going to try to get this uploaded, and I'm going to get on a few of my stacks of things and try to get some stuff cranked out. And so anyway, wherever you are, I hope you're, I'm sorry, I'm easily distracted. Squirrel. Anyway, God bless y'all. I hope that you have a good day or evening or afternoon or whatever your scenario is. And just pray blessings on you, your family, and your friends.